Welcome to your mat. I'm Jody. Tonight we're going to be talking about something different. We're going to be talking about male teachers giving assists in classes. Some people like them, some people don't. They have their reasons. We're going to talk about it. So welcome to Eighth Limb Yoga at Riverwalk in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm Jody, and we're going to talk. Today I want to touch on what can be considered a controversial topic in the world of yoga. Male teachers doing hands-on assists. Now I know what you might be thinking. What's controversial about that? Let me tell you, it's not as simple as it seems. Let's dive into this. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Jody, and like many of you here, I am a yoga enthusiast. I've been practicing as well as teaching for years. And I have had my fair share of experiences with hands-on assists from various teachers, both male and female. But I've come to notice a trend in the yoga community that sparked debates and discussions on this topic. So I wanted to take this opportunity to shed some light on the topic and maybe a little bit of humor into the mix. So let's start with the basics. In yoga, hands-on assists are a physical adjustment or touch from a teacher to guide a student deeper into a pose or to correct their alignment. It can be common and an essential part of a student's learning progress in their practice. Some students also find it relaxing and helpful to have physical guidance during their practice. So what's the big deal about male teachers doing it? Well, for starters, there can be a stereotype that men providing hands-on assists may make some students uncomfortable, especially some females, and that's totally legitimate. The concern is that a male teacher might cross the line and make that student feel uncomfortable or awkward. But let me tell you, as someone married to a male instructor, as well as very friendly with many male instructors, I can assure you, their intentions are pure, and they have no interest in making anyone feel uncomfortable. The focus is on helping students deepen their practice. Now, I understand in today's society, there's a lot of emphasis on consent and boundaries, and that's absolutely important. But sometimes male teachers might feel that they have to walk on eggshells when it comes to giving hands-on assists. I mean, even a friendly hug can be misconstrued sometimes. Am I right? So you might be asking yourself, how do male teachers really feel about these things? As I mentioned earlier, my husband has been through yoga teacher training, and ever since then, this has been a topic of conversation for us. So I'm back, and my husband Jason and my girlfriend Danny have joined me. And we are going to be going through a series of poses. And Jason is going to be demonstrating from the male perspective, the male teacher's perspective, of how these poses can be done in ways that may be perceived as inappropriate or make the students a little bit uncomfortable, and other ways to maybe make it a little less, for lack of a better word, creepy. So let's check out what we have going on over here. Okay, so we're here and I'm with Jason and Danny. Danny is now in child's pose, balasana, or also can be known as Adho Mukha Virasana. And Jason is going to come along and give an assist on Danny as if we were in a class. So Jason's going to take his hands down. And let's see a little more inappropriate, if you want to call it that, touch. So notice Jason's taking his hands down. He has his palms down. And look how he rested his fingers down on her. We want to use mitten hands here. So maybe if he took his hands and just kind of stuck out his fingertips and gently pressed down, applying some pressure onto the bony part of Danny's back body, and just feel some release there. Take a deep breath in, Danny. Fill up your back body. And exhale, maybe Jason can press down a little bit deeper. Very nice. How does that feel, Danny?
Really good.
Great. So maybe we can take another hand. Maybe, Jason, you can rest your one hand on the center of Danny's sacrum. Just take it down there. And maybe just give her a little massage up the back body, right along the spine. And notice how Jason is just keeping his fingertips up. And maybe a little massage down the back is a little bit fine. We know each other. If you're comfortable with your students, that's fine. Evening out the sides, making sure to just use the heel of the hands. And then maybe take one more press with both. Deep breath in, Danny. Fill the back body. And exhale to soften. And there you go. That's a couple of ways that are simple assists for male instructors to do in our child's pose. So here we are with Danny. Danny is now in a pigeon pose, Kapota Asana. So here Danny is looking pretty comfortable in her pose, and Jason is going to come along and he is going to give her an assist. So here we go. Jason's placing his hands on her, and it looks like it's going pretty well. He's pressing down with the heels of his hands, and it looks like his fingertips are gently brushing. We could lift those up, and going deeper into the stretch, going into the thigh, it feels great to press down here. We just want to be careful as a male instructor that these hands don't really come down, do any squeezing into the thigh. So let's repeat, show again the more appropriate way to do that. And take it down, and that looks comfortable. How does that feel, Danny?
Very nice.
Very nice. Okay, maybe we can go a little bit deeper. Danny, maybe lengthen out your arms long in front of you. Maybe sink into the stretch a little bit more. Maybe take the forehead down. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Jason, go ahead. Press down. And just like in our child's pose, maybe we could take that little massage right up the spine. Again, as a male instructor or even female, everyone can be sensitive, but males just a little extra attention and awareness to being a little too finger happy. We want to keep our fingers lifted up. Yes, maybe do a little jazz hands. And just a little side note, Danny teaches jazzercise, so you can do your little jazz hands. So yeah, so here we are in our pigeon pose. So Jason, why don't you step back for just 1 second and then come back on in, and let's get Danny into our pigeon pose in all the right ways. So let's press down using the heels of the hands, gentle pressure, deep breath in. Listening to our students, and on the exhale, that's when the pressure is applied. A few more breaths in, out. And then we'll softly back away, letting the student know that they are safe and sound. So let's talk about solutions. What can the solution be? I believe that male teachers have to be even more mindful and considerate when giving hands-on assists. There has to be great awareness of body language, tone, and always asking for consent before touching a student. This can be in the beginning of the class, or just let them know it's okay to wave you off. Because let's face it, the responsibility falls on the teacher to create a safe and comfortable environment for students, regardless of anyone's gender. Male teachers should strive to educate themselves on proper techniques and communication when it comes to hands-on assists. It's not just about touching someone's body. It's about getting them getting them into a deeper understanding of their own practice. And that requires sensitivity, awareness, and empathy. All of these things together help build trust and ensure that the student feels comfortable during their practice. So here we have Danny in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. we're going to have Jason come and do a beautiful assist on Danny. So Jason's going to come along and he's going to take this assist from behind. So notice he is getting a nice firm foundation. And he's just pulling up her shirt to just avoid any skin on skin contact, just to make Danny feel a little more comfortable in the pose. And grounding down through his feet, wrapping his arms firmly around her sacrum. He's going to take a nice deep breath in with Danny. Feel the breath. And on the exhale, Jason's going to lean back into the pose, pulling her sacrum back. She's lifting her tailbone up, breathing deeply. And I would just like you to take notice at where Jason is looking. He's looking straight ahead. His drishti is forward. Now, Jason, just for the sake of doing it, take your gaze down. Now, somehow, that makes it seem a little bit incorrect, doesn't it? Take your gaze back forward. Nice long drishti. Okay. Somehow that just changes it. Now, Danny doesn't really feel the difference in this pose. You guys can come out if you want. So Danny didn't really feel the difference in Jason's gaze. This is more about, Danny, you can come down if you like. This is more about making people comfortable in the class. There could be people watching. There could be new students that don't really know anything about assists that could be watching. I mentioned earlier in my video that it's important for the male instructor and all instructors to make sure that everyone is comfortable in the room. So if someone sees something visually, they may think that it could be seen incorrect, or that that male teacher could be checking out what he shouldn't be checking out. So keep the gaze forward when you are adjusting in your downward facing dog, whether you are male or female, and I think we can all be safe that way and enjoy the nice assist. So now we're going to get Danny into revolved side angle. So take your hands down. We're going to tuck those back toes under and lift that bottom leg, taking into a nice easy twist here. So draw that knee in, and Jason is going to come along and give Danny a nice deepening assist. So notice how he is taking his leg outside of her hip over there to give her some support. Now he's going to come on down, rest his hand on her hip, her thigh there, and make sure that he is careful not to get too handsy with those fingers. So lift those fingers up using those mitten hands. We want those fingers back. So now Jason's going to come along and, oh, careful there. Make sure to use those mitten hands. And he's gently going to just twist her open. Isn't that nice? Now notice his fingers, making sure he's not pressing too much. And this is a beautiful adjustment for this pose without going too deep. And just one extra little cherry on top that Danny, being the awesome massage therapist, just taught us is this extra little bonus to deepen the twist. Notice how Jason is taking his elbow into the crease of her elbow, and he's going to twist her open even more. How does that feel, Danny?
Great.
Yeah, did you go even further?
Yeah.
So yeah, little cherry on top for any teachers that don't know that fun little trick. There you go. And that's revolved side angle for you. Good job, guys. Now let's flip the coin for a moment. As a student, it's important to remember that our teachers, regardless of their gender, are trained professionals. They have dedicated their lives to honing their craft and helping students become better yogis. So if you do ever feel uncomfortable with a certain adjustment, it's okay to speak up and communicate to that teacher. Let them know. They will appreciate your honesty and will find another way to help you in that pose. Remember, your teachers are there to guide you and to help you along and make you enjoy yoga. And finally, let's not forget that yoga is about breaking down barriers and preconceived notions. It's about breaking free of social norms and connecting with our true selves. So let's not put limits on who can and cannot give hands-on assists. Let's embrace our male teachers, their knowledge, and their willingness to help us to our full potential. Our next pose is going to be Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So everybody has different shapes and different sizes in their bodies. So Danny is a few inches taller than me, and that does affect this assist. So we're going to do it two different ways. So me, I'm a little shorty. I'm going to go first. So my knee is over my ankle. I have my nice heel to arch alignment, and I am gazing forward. I feel good in this pose, but I bet I can get a little bit deeper. So Jason, why don't you come along and show me what you can do? So notice I'm short. So Jason has to get down on his knee to reach me. He's pretty tall. So he's kind of really hugging into me, but I feel secure. It's all good. And notice he is opening up my hips. Breathing in. And notice his back hand is just gently pressing me open, not reaching too far in. And notice his gaze. His gaze is forward, not even looking at me. I'm going to take a deep breath in and exhale to deepen into the pose. And then I'm going to come on out, and we're going to see how this is different on someone just a few inches taller than me. So Danny, come on over and get in your Warrior 2. Nice. Nice long straight arms. And her gaze is forward. Okay, Jason, go ahead and come on over. Now notice how considerably taller she is. And I'm just going to kind of move the camera over here so that you can see Jason's leg. Let's get a little different perspective here. Okay, so Jason is coming in, and he's giving her that support to the hip that she needs. You feel secure, Danny? Great. Let's twist her open a little bit deeper. His hand is coming into that thigh, and he's gently pressing it open. Holding there. We're going to come around this side and just see what's happening over here. Notice that hand on that hip. Breathing here. Gently press open. He released his fingers. Notice those nice mitten hands. One more breath in. And exhale. Release. Come on out. Beautiful job. That's Virabhadrasana 2. And different ways to do that assist depending on the size of your practitioner. Our next pose that we're going to demonstrate is dancer pose, Awkwardness. So, not going to ask Danny to hold this one for too long. It's a nice balancing pose, so hopefully we can get through this one pretty quickly and get our points in. So Danny is going to come into a beautiful balancing pose, Awkwardness, reaching back and squaring off the hips. Jason can approach. So notice how he's taking his foot over hers to give her a little bit of stability here. She feels secure. Taking his hand across her low ribs. And notice that his palm is down. He doesn't want to come up and grab into her ribs, into her breastplate. And he has some gentle support over here, about more than halfway down her thigh and pretty close to her knee. And that's fine. But we just want to make sure that we are holding along the bottom of the ribs here and make sure that you're not grabbing with those fingertips. And another great little cue that's you don't even have to touch anybody. Just come back in for a second. We'll just be quick. Reach forward. And we're just going to have Danny balance on my hand. Yeah, that's her anchor right there. That's it. Let go. And that's it. Some simple adjustments for our dancer pose. Our next and last pose that we're going to be going over today will be a wide-legged forward fold. So Danny's going to demonstrate that. So she's going to come onto the mat right over here. Take her feet out nice and wide. Just pigeon toe your feet just a little bit. Take your toes in, your heels out. Take a nice deep breath in. Reach your arms up to the sky. And on the exhale with a nice long spine, take a fold over those legs. Nice. Let's just find a little bit more length. Maybe come up about halfway. And tuck your tailbone down, finding a little more length. And exhale to fold. Beautiful. We're going to have Jason come over, and he's going to come around her legs and give her an assist. So notice how he stepped through her legs, getting some really close contact there. He's going to squeeze his legs onto her leg to give her some support. So then we're going to ask Danny to take a nice deep breath in as Jason places just the heel of his hand on the very top of her spine. And Danny's going to take a nice exhale and gently rock some weight forward to the balls of her feet. Take the crown of the head down. Yeah, let that just crown of the head release. Beautiful. And notice how Jason is just running the heel of his hand. He took it down her back. And each exhale, Danny might find a little bit more length. Let's take one more deep breath in here, Danny. And on the exhale, gently release. Maybe the crown of the head comes a little bit closer to the floor. And Jason is being super aware of that gentle touch, making sure not to get too much contact with his fingers onto her back body, as well as onto her skin. Nice. We'll gently release. Jason will come on out. And I'll ask Danny to gently rock some weight back into the heels of her feet. And Jason can nice and slowly pull his leg back. And she has that firm foundation that she needs to rise. Take an inhale. Come on up about halfway. And exhale, refold. And then use your core to rise. Circle your arms around and up. Nice. And exhale, take your hands down, heel toe those feet together. And we had a great wide-legged forward fold. And finally, let's not forget that yoga is about breaking down barriers and preconceived notions. It's about breaking free of social norms and connecting with our true selves. So let's not put limits on who can and cannot give hands-on assists. Let's embrace our male teachers, their knowledge, and their willingness to help us to our full potential. So I would say male teachers giving hands-on assists is not something to be feared or avoided at any cost. It can be a necessary part of the learning process and should be approached with open minds and open hearts. So the next time a male teacher offers you an adjustment, don't be afraid to say yes. Trust me, they're not trying to steal your energy. They want to help you find your inner warrior. So thank you for listening, and namaste. Have a beautiful day. Again, I'm Jody, and this is the Welcome Mat Yoga from 8th Limb Yoga at Riverwalk in the beautiful Riverwalk community of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Check me out on Instagram at JCF1122. I will be posting there, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Welcome Mat. I would love to see you again. I'm posting videos just about every week or so. So come on down to your mat and feel free, feel open, and let your teacher do some assists. It feels so good. Go deeper. See you next time.